Let's go ahead and clear our screen. Okay, so this, and these are things that we've already done, or a couple of things, but I want to make sure that we do it again anyway, because you will need to know this for the activity. So remember, if you do a dir, it gives you a list of all the folders with dir and the files inside of wherever you are. So C users, ACAR, dir, this is everything in there. And it even tells you up here. Okay, then let's do a copy. So basically, you're actually, when you do this copy, and actually I think I titled it wrong, if you type in echo budget 2010, and then you do the greater than sign or the angle bracket, and then budget10.txt, you're actually creating the file as well as putting content in there. So if I do echo budget, 2010, the greater than sign, and then budget10.txt, and just before I press enter, I want to verify that there's nothing in here called budget.txt. So I go ahead and press enter, and then I do a dir, and there it is, budget.txt. So if we go into the assignment here, it says create 5 files using the echo command. So there it is. I use the echo command, and then I created a file, and then I put something in there. Okay, well, the question is, what did I put in there? So I named it budget 10. So I'm going to do type budget 10. And there it is. That's what I put in there. Okay. So that is it for that part there. And I'm going to retitle that to creating a file and putting content in there. Okay, so we already covered paste, and I'm always using the up arrow. So when it looks like this, you see the different things that I've typed in previously. It's because I'm doing the up arrow, and now I'm doing the down arrow. How to use the echo command to recreate or copy a file exactly the same? Good question. Yes, you can. And that would be, where is it? Actually, that would be further on, and I don't want to do that right now. Okay, yeah, I don't want to do that right now, but you can do it. Okay, so let's see. Okay, so, oh, well, I'm sorry, this is it right here. Okay, so I was talking about the up arrow. So when you do the up arrow, and just like you were asking, David, sorry, I thought it was further down, but here it is. You can actually just do echo. Well, no, this is actually just creating another file, and we are putting something into it, but there's still another way to copy the file. So this is still a different way of doing it, but you know, it's still, the result is the same. So basically what I did is the up arrow. Okay, and I went to budget 10, but now I want to create a file called budget 11. Now, if you look in the assignment, it says that we need 5 files, and they're all the same except for the number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So if we just come in here and change the number, press enter, and do a dir, now you'll see that I have budget 10 and 11. So that's one way of making a copy of the file. So if I do the up arrow again, now I can change it to 12, do a dir, and now I have 3 different files with 3 different numbers. So that's one way of doing it. And so that was using the up arrow and then just changing the number. Well, there's also a function keys, which is another thing I should have. Oh, I have the keyboard still. So earlier I was talking about control keys or the shortcut keys, and you use control to the control key on the keyboard on the bottom left to use some of these keys to do things. So if you hold down control and you tap C, it's to copy. You hold down control, you tap V, you paste. This is undo, this is cut, and this is redo. And just in case, I know I haven't mentioned it before, but, or maybe I did. So if I type in hello, my name is, I can undo. So it undid the is, but then there's a redo button on the top left corner of Word. You just do redo, and there it is again. So if you do undo, undo, and the reason why what it undid there is it undid the capitalization. Undo to undo the typing. Redo to put the typing, redo to put the capital, and redo to put the is. So there's many undos and redos. Undo is Z, redo is Y. So Control Z to undo, hold down Control Y, Control, and then tap Y to redo. Okay, so those were the shortcut keys. Now, if you look at the top of the keyboard here, we have function keys, the F1, F2, F3, F4, and those have different purposes. But the thing is that you have to remember what the purposes are. So there's a complete list in the textbook, and you might already be familiar with the F1, but just in general, when you do like Microsoft Word, you press F1, it shows the help. That's typically what help is. And actually, I think I even mentioned earlier that instead of using the refresh, I usually just do the F5 key and it refreshes a web page. So F5 is a very common key that I use, which is right here. And that's the key that I remember. Another key I remember is F8, I believe, F8 and F10. When you have issues with your computer and you want to look at stuff in the background, you press F8 so you can look at BIOS and stuff like that, or reset your computer. But when it comes to the shells and the command line interface, here are just a few of the options that you have where you can use function keys to do things. And it's completely up to you whether you use them. It's just a different option for you. Just like I like to do the up arrow, you could actually just do F3 and it remembers that the last thing was dir. If I type in Smurf, of course, it's not going to do anything. But then if I do F3 again, it remembers that I did Smurf. Kind of cool is that when you do F1, it does one letter at a time. And then F7 actually gives you a list of the things that you've typed. So it's basically the same thing as doing the up arrow, but it's just a different way. Again, preference. So if I do enter, it actually, well, it just redid that, creating that file, but really didn't do anything because the file's already created. So anyway, so those are function keys that you can use. Again, preference. So the F7, I use the up and down arrows. Let's say you did F7 and you're like, you know what, I don't even need any of those. Just press the escape on the top left corner of your screen, this escape key here, and it will get rid of that menu. So you have a list or the history of the commands. You press escape and it's gone. Okay. Always remember you can put any questions or any comments in the chat. Okay, so we have 15 minutes more. So we went ahead and finished this. And actually, I'm going to do a quick one on 8.6. Oh, yeah, because this is actually pretty cool. And this is actually part of the assignment as well. Okay, so we did the F7 just right now. Display list, that's just the dir. And we are going to do this probably next time. But one thing, oh, here it is. The first thing you're going to do is create a folder with your name. Then you're going to type in CD and then go into that folder, but we're not going to type in name. We actually want to use the auto completion, which is really cool. So for example, I'm in the C users A card folder, right? And if I scroll up, I have a documents folder. Now let's say I wanted to go into that documents folder, but I'm really lazy, or you just want to save time. And that's what I like to do. You can just do CD doc, press tab, and boom, it automatically filled in the folder name. So let me do that again. It's just so cool. Doc, and press enter. Okay. So I finished it, pressed enter, boom, it brought you into the documents folder. Now let me do a dir again, and actually I want to use the pipe and then do more because I want to be able to page down. So see how there's a more on the bottom here? I can actually page down, and so it's not going to just display all of the content and then I have to scroll up. I want to see content, and when I'm ready, I press either the enter key to do one line at a time or the space bar for page down. Okay, so notice how there's two items here that start with a DO. What happens then? If I do CD and then DO and then tab, well, what did it do? It just assumed the first one. So just be careful that if you have two folders that start with what you're thinking about starting with, that it might not work so well. So if you know that there's documents and downloads, be sure to put enough letters so that it knows which one you want. Cool stuff there. All right, so we have a question. What would happen if you just put do? Oh, okay. Oh, very good. Very good question. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and stop this one at 8.6.